Hello and welcome to my video. This will be about LaTeX and math syntax highlighting and how I've managed to allow math highlighting and snippets in different file types, so not just tex files. LaTeX and snippets are cool, but they only work in tex files, usually. Now, while I write math notes in Vim, I sometimes want to use a tab separated value file so that I can easily import my math notes into Anki. And sometimes I want to use a .vimwiki file rather than a .vimwiki. That's actually wrong. It should be just like a wiki file for vimwiki. And perhaps that problem will come further along. Say I wanted to use a markdown file with math highlighting and snippets. Here's how I've managed to add it. Add it meaning, here's how I managed to add syntax highlighting and snippets to other file types. Oh. There's a fire going on in my house, unfortunately. So, first of all, this is the wrong file. I want to show you syntax file first. So this is the original syntax file you'll get from Vim that is included. Here's the maintainer and all the important information. What I've done is commented out anything that doesn't really include math in it, because I only need syntax highlighting for math and not just general tech things, so like LaTeX commands and such. And a lot of things had to be commented out. I wanted this to be minimalist. I didn't want any processing power wasted on syntax files. And after this was added, there was another file that I just copied and pasted, which is this person, I believe. I won't be able to pronounce his name perfectly, but I'll give it a go. It's Kita Nakamura, and they have this conceal feature, which I recommend you go check out. It probably does what you need it to do, and that was also used this, which is just a syntax file as well. So I added this, and be sure to add it to, right now it's in my dot files, but usually it will be in just your home directory .config/nvim if you're using NeoVim, syntax, which is another folder, and then your syntax, actual syntax files. Now I don't want anything to be called mymathTech. I don't want any file to be ended with mymathTech, but this is kind of like a base file for syntax that I will now call in other files. For example, TSV. So as per the manuals, which is, if you type in help, come up with this manual, and if you go to this chapter, it will show you to use this for if you wanted to extend C++'s syntax file with C. And you might be wondering, how did I get to USR 44? Well, I just typed in help syntax, and introduces writing a syntax file, and that's where I got it from. So I just call the math file, and now I should be able to use math highlighting and syntax highlighting with TSV. Now, the reason why I wanted that is because, let's do syntax off. Does this work? No. So without syntax highlighting, this is what the code looks like. It's quite hard to figure out, but with syntax highlighting, you can see that that's meant to be pi, that's meant to be 1/4. The subscripts look a bit more intuitive, and it's still the same code, but it's just concealed by Vim. And yeah, the Vim wiki file would look the same, or at least similar. In the wild, it would already have noticed the file type is vimwiki, but because I'm not actually in a vimwiki directory with all the extra files, I don't think it realizes it is vimwiki. Yeah, and here you go, which was nice, and yeah, this is what it kind of looks like. Now for syntax highlighting, which was just done actually, not syntax highlighting, for snippets, it's a pretty similar idea, which is to make a sort of module, a main file that is something that everything else includes or imports, or whatever you have, whatever you would write. In this case, it will be extends, the command that we will use. So I'll show you my so this was basically the work of, I believe his name is Gilles Castel, and a great famous article that he wrote on how you can write text snippets. And the only difference is I didn't want to have Vimtex. I didn't want to include this plugin and install it just for this one functionality, which is to check if I'm in a math block or not. So instead I used a slightly longer winded approach, which I found from this article, which is, I believe it was what the OT snippets by Gilles was using previously, but this is a lot more cleaner and more easier to understand. However, again, I didn't want to install Vimtex. And here are a few of my math commands that I use on a daily basis. And this will be used by TSV. This is how I found it online somewhere, I can't remember exactly where, but really the best practice is to have this as a really, really low priority, and extends is the command. And then for example, for TSV, I wanted the file's math blocks to be using parentheses rather than a $. And this is, so you have snippets that I usually use for vimwiki. It's totally different from math LaTeX, but it does include it, which I thought was a great solution. I hope to, by the time I make this video live, I hope to have released a blog post with all the code. It will be quite a long-winded blog post because there'll be a lot of lines of code, but if you are interested and you want to copy and paste, I should have that blog post ready. Thank you so much for watching. I won't be uploading for the Christmas break, but I hope to see you in the New Year's. So I hope you have a great Christmas and a Happy New Year. Thank you.